We may be entering the dog days of summer era for hockey, but trust and believe there is still plenty more Calgary Flames hockey to talk about.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I am your host, Jess, and today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Today, we're going to be examining what is going on in the present immediate future in this new era of Calgary Flames hockey, because this is something fans have been wanting for such a long time, and it's happening. Granted, it's not happening with Gaudreau and Tkachuk, which really were, key pieces to Calgary's future and success, but we're gonna shake things up a little bit here. Focus on the positives. Make sure you are subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We are here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. With this new chapter, I don't even want to call it a new chapter. It feels like a whole new book. There's already so much that's been written or outlined. We've been talking about this new era of Flames hockey really for 2 summers now. I would say this is the second summer, third maybe, because you had 2022, 2023, and this summer. So yeah, 3 summers, but 2 calendar years. And this new era of Flames hockey, this past hockey season was a big turning point for the organization because they finally had their hands forced. Their hands were tied behind their back, and they couldn't do anything without really forcing themselves into a rebuild. And, I think that the draft, as well as free agency and the new arena, really solidified that we are in this new Flames era of hockey. You can call it a rebuild. You can call it a transitional period. You can call it whatever you want, but this is a new Flames era. This is a new time for the Flames. And it's really nothing like many Flames fans have seen before. Based on the fans that I've spoken with, fans that are in their 20s and 30s and even a little bit older, they've never seen a Flames rebuild. It's never happened. So this is a whole uncharted territory for the organization, and that's that can be terrifying because no one knows how to navigate it based on experience, and that's fine. Sometimes I don't think they're winging it by any means, but sometimes you just you go in blind and it's on the job training. I'm sure many of us have been in situations, whether it's at work or school or in a babysitting position, where it's I have never been faced with this task. Granted, it's not as expensive and terrifying as a rebuild, but you have to think on your feet and you learn and you get to apply new skills and the skills you already have. And I think that Craig Conroy has done a really good job so far. And none of this is happening without the summer of 2022. The other day it was actually Monday, marked the 2-year anniversary of the Matthew Tkachuk trade. We all remember where we were when that news broke. I was in bed, okay? It was a Friday night in the middle of summer, and I was just trying to be a responsible adult. And it's all been downhill from there. But then, of course, you have Brad Treliving's last year as a general manager, and the issues with Sutter and how the ownership group wouldn't let Treliving fire him. So basically, Treliving said, "Okay, I'm done. I'm I will be done at the end of the season. And then all those players supposedly submit trade requests, and then Sutter's fired, and magically they're all rescinded. I don't know how true that is, but it sounds like it's been substantiated. So thank you everyone for stepping up and going to bat. And of course, Brad Treliving was replaced by Craig Conroy, and Ryan Huska took over for Sutter. And both of them have had like an aggressive approach. I don't think that Huska is necessarily like aggressive, like a Daryl Sutter or oh my goodness, a John Tortorella, like that type of aggressive. But he's a mind, and he sees things, and he brings his vision to life, whether it's good or bad. And then Craig Conroy is just way too nice of a human being. And we saw that at the trade deadline when he was just laying all of his cards out on the table, and not in like a strategic way, but the exact opposite, definitely. So, I mean, both I think are great candidates for their jobs, and great at their jobs considering the state of the organization. You weren't going to be able to bring in a coach like John Tortorella into this situation. He's already, in the trenches with Philadelphia. And there's already that long history of beef with, So, getting Ryan Huska, who is familiar with the organization and a lot of their key pieces, was very important. So, keeping it in the organization internally and all those fun internal hires was the right move, and I will stand by that. But now there's like some next steps to take, and what is right here ahead of us, like right now, and of course as the summer continues. But before we dive into any of that, we are going to take a quick break here, and we will be right back after this. If you are like me, you absolutely love going to any sort of sporting event, theater, concert, comedy show, you name it, and Game Time has got you covered. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. And the prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it is to the first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, view from your seats, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Like I said, you can find tickets to more than just MLB games. You can find concert tickets. You can find comedy tickets. Or comedy show tickets. You can find theater productions as well. And I just enjoy being able to see the view from my seat, especially in an unfamiliar arena. I will be using the Game Time app to go when I go to Calgary, and then of course travel north to Edmonton later this fall, because I have never sat in either arena, and the view from your seat function will absolutely make sure that I get the best view and the best deal for my money. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you're getting your podcasts so you can make Locked On Flames part of your day every day. And we appreciate you for that. With this off season comes RFA extensions. And obviously the biggest one on the table right now is, of course, Dustin Wolf. that is priority number one. Now that you have taken care of the, priorities at the start of the offseason. But with this, like, Dustin Wolf is an RFA. So he can't just sign anywhere. He has to, he can be offer sheeted. Whenever someone says offer sheet, my brain automatically goes to like an Excel spreadsheet with like offers and like the information. Just a fun fact I wanted to share. Or he can request a trade. Team can offer sheet him, or obviously sign said extension with the Flames. Is this going to be a situation where he is handed a long-term deal, or is it going to be a bridge deal? I think it's going to be a bridge deal, simply because he has not had the opportunity to prove himself at the NHL level, and you don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket. However, this can also lead to a situation where, like, UC Saros was in, and he signed his extension. And then, of course, Igor Shesterkin. And then Jeremy Swayman is an RFA and is still not signed yet. So it can be tricky, but you have to think about the long-term, or the plan in the state of your organization at the time and the projected next few years. So right now, I do think a bridge deal is the most likely option. I think that he's going to be so fun to watch at the NHL level. Like, I'm not even joking. I think that this is, once he gets situated and comfortable and acclimated and consistently seeing NHL time, you're going to like what you're seeing. You're going to understand what people in the AHL were talking about, what people in the WHL were talking about, and what everyone has been talking about and waiting for these last few years. The hype around this kid has been so loud, and he is still quiet, humble. He knows he's there to do a job, and he is locked in to do it. On top of Dustin Wolf, you have a lot of other players that are fun to watch. Kuzmenko, even if he is just part of this team up until the trade deadline, I think he is so fun. I think he's someone who has a bubbly personality, but still like reserved, and goes out on the ice and gives you something to talk about. It's not necessarily, elite talent, but it's something. He made the Flames fun to watch after the Elias Lindholm trade. So like, he injected energy and life into this lineup. And I think that Ryan Huska just has a really good way of reinforcing what players are coming into and what their roles are going to be. Mackenzie Weegar, of course, who had a phenomenal career year this past season. Just what a guy. Someone commented on one of the videos recently that they don't think Weegar is captain material. And you're entitled to your opinion, but are we watching the same Mackenzie Weegar? I think that with this rebuild comes the need for veteran presence. And I think that Weegar is truly like a stand-up guy who goes to bat for his teammates, who will take accountability when it needs to be taken, and is someone that that teammates can lean on and rely on. Very excited to continue to watch Sharon Govich come into his own in Calgary. He just signed that 5-year extension. Super cool. Really, really excited to watch him. I know that people kind of have gripes about that, but like, I understand. Let's just, again, watch how this plays out. The Flames are not really in a position to bring in any stars to move this rebuild along any faster. So Sharon Govich will do. And of course, you have Dustin Wolf, like we just mentioned. I think that the most exciting players to watch on this team this year are going to be the young players. It's not because they are like the most skilled or highly regarded skill sets and all that. I think because this is something that fans have been waiting for years. Fans have been waiting for years for Dustin Wolf to be able to make the leap to the NHL. And now he's stepping pretty much right into the starting position, or the starting role, which is huge. And, you know, him and Vladar probably going to go back and forth. It might be a 1A, 1B situation, or something else happens. Connor Zary and Martin Pospisil, crazy breakout years last season. Their rookie years, unprecedented, unexpected, and unlike anything Flames fans had on their radar. And I look forward to this next year of success for them and kind of, again, watching them come into their own as NHL players. Obviously, you have Zary at starting at center, and that's an option that's being flexed around. And then Conroy and Huska talked about how they're going to try Pospisil at center, and that's great. I think that's going to be fun, and it gives you whatever you can, as many options as you can have. And we've talked about why that's important. And then, you have players like Matt Coronato and Jakob Pelletier who are, highly touted prospects. Matt Coronato, first round pick, 2023 draft. Yeah, 2023. And, or 2022. I can't remember. I'm so sorry. And he was just so honest about his need for improvement in his skating and in his skills. And he's talked about it, working with a professional skating trainer and how that's helped him and ironing out those bad habits. And then, of course, you have Pelletier, who has needed to, needed extra time in the AHL, or there just wasn't room for him on the NHL roster. Last season was supposed to be his first full rookie year. And then, of course, he gets injured and misses most of the season. So this is his revenge tour. Super exciting. And there's even more players that could really make the jump this summer. I'm thinking Jamie Poirier, we might see a couple times. Solyov, you have Kuznetsov. There are players that could surprise us this year. And I think that that's so exciting and something that the Flames just need to really embrace and accept, that integrating this young blood into the lineup is crucial and integral to this rebuild. But coming up next, we are going to wrap up the show with what's next through these dog days of summer, because there is still work to be done, and we will be right back after this. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you are burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive today at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. make sure you're following me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto. With this transition period comes, baby steps to the next benchmark. And right now we're on the dog days of summer. Stampede's over. The Canadian Football League season has started, and it's the end of July. We are in the final stretch of summer before camp starts. And that is very exciting, but also terrifying, because that means whatever product the Flames ice is the product we're watching this year. But again, could be great, because they could end up in a position where they are once again picking in the top 10. And that, I still think that that's more than likely going to be the case. Right now, we're still waiting for the contract extensions for Cole Schwinn, Solyov, whose wife just had a baby. Cole Schwinn, I mentioned Jakob Pelletier and Dustin Wolf. We are still waiting for these things. And part of me believes we're going to get group announcements, because I know that Wolf has been in Calgary for most of the summer. And I think it makes sense to announce a handful of them at the same time, for the sake of, optics and things like that just have to happen eventually. And, if these contracts all get done around the same time, then yes, it makes sense to do it that way. But again, none of this can truly be predicted. I think that they do announce them all, or a few of them, around the same time, probably closer to camp, just because of the way that the speed of things have gone thus far. And that's not anything bad. We're not dealing with another Matthew Tkachuk situation where, it's not the player doing the negotiating, it's families. And I don't think that that's the situation here at all. And that's fine. I would like to see everyone on the ice together at camp, and I hope they're all enjoying themselves and are ready to get back to work, because this is a big year for all of those players. Cole Schwinn came over in the Matthew Tkachuk trade with Weegar and Huberdeau. And are we going to get an NHL caliber player out of him? I do not know. I am not a fortune teller, but I do think that you're going to get something. And I hope that, not that the Flames need another bottom six player, but with players like Kevin Rooney, who has 1 year, he has signed a 1 year extension. So I'm assuming 32, 33 years old, he will hang up the skates at the end of the season. You're going to need players to move up. And Cole Schwinn could be one of them, but he could, again, surprise you and play higher in the lineup. This is why he needs to play at the NHL level, so we can kind of gauge where he's at and where he might fit in best for the time being. And if not, then, oh, well, you know what? Give him another year in the AHL. More playing time, more time to build up his skills, and be prepared, more prepared for this jump. In order to make it through this next at least 2 seasons, you are going to have to gaslight yourself into finding the positives. You're just going to have to do that. And I am personally excited to watch these young kids crack the lineup, to watch Dustin Wolf. If he gets shelled, 2 nights, 3 nights a month, you know what? Then we know the Flames need to work on their defense, and he just has to put in a little bit more work. Or maybe the Flames just need to start scoring goals. You're going to have to find ways to enjoy this. And I love watching hockey. I love watching good hockey. But if I'm watching a rebuilding team, you're going to be able to see that progress. And I think that that's great. you know, I think that all these guys are ready to get to work, and we've seen them all share the new renderings of the event center and arena to their Instagram stories, and you know, they're ready for the future and to have a state-of-the-art facility that is going to leave so many around the world envious of whatever they're creating. So, you know, I'm excited for this season. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a good one, but you should not have any expectations for this team to make the playoffs, even if they come out of the gate swinging. And Jonathan Huberdeau could have a multi-point game like almost every game, and I'm still not convinced they're making the playoffs. I don't think that they will. I think that their defense still, while it's gotten better than what it was back in May and prior to free agency, still don't think it's going to shape up to, you know, what you really want and need in a defense for a winning team. So you got to just roll with the punches, take your medicine, and go through the rebuild. But there's, again, still so much to look forward to. And the fact that the Flames are here after a year of Craig Conroy tells me that we are in good hands. This team is in good hands. He's making decisions with the future in mind rather than the immediate future, and thinking with emotion. And I just hope that it continues this way and things will start turning upwards. I'm looking forward to, you know, watching Dustin Wolf take over the NHL and finally make the jump. I'm excited for my trip out there for the home opener and then going up to Edmonton for the Battle of Alberta. Like, there's things to look forward to this season, and watching the kids make the jump is going to be probably the biggest one, at least for right now. But that will do it for me today on Locked On Flames. I hope you all had a fantastic day, and thank you so much for making Locked On Flames part of your day. Whether you're listening to WOW in the car, putting laundry away, making dinner, whatever it is that you're doing, thank you so much for including me in the show. If you have a free moment, feel free to throw a 5-star review rating and a nice little review up on iTunes. It means a lot. It goes a very long way. And I will see you all tomorrow. Stay safe, stay cool, stay warm, stay hydrated, wear sunscreen, and remember, be kind.